Madrimov has tremendous footwork, he's elusive, his defense is good, he punches really, really, really hard. But we understand, we're up against the pound for pound number one, the guy's a genius.
Israil, the best 154 pounder in the division right now. So why not go for the top guy in the division right off the bat?
Boxing pros have just revealed their picks for the much-anticipated Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov fight on August 3rd. Turki Alalshik, chairman of the board of directors of the GEA, recently unveiled a highly anticipated showdown, pound-for-pound sensation. Terence Crawford will take on Israil Madrimov for the WBA and WBO Interim World Super Welterweight title. Talking about it, Alalshik said, "We want to give people around the world the opportunity to enjoy their own Riyadh season experience, and this is exactly what we hope to achieve by staging this and also future events around the world." Eddie Hearn, the chairman of Matchroom Sport, commented on the fight, describing it as a fantastic bout between a pound-for-pound great and one of the best world champions in the sport. He acknowledged Crawford's status as a pound-for-pound great who continues to aim for the top. However, Hearn pointed out that in Israel, Crawford faces a hungry champion who has no plans to give up his title in his first defense. Hearn said, "Terence is a pound-for-pound great and continues to strive to be the very best. But in Israel, he meets a hungry champion that has no intention of relinquishing his title in his first defense. This promises to be one of the fights of the year. The undercard has to be one of, if not the best we have ever seen for a US card. Get ready for a huge night on August 3rd in Los Angeles." Crawford, boasting an impressive record of 40 wins with 31 knockouts, is aiming to make history by becoming a champion in 4 different weight classes. After dominating the welterweight division and securing the undisputed championship at 147 pounds with a remarkable knockout victory over Errol Spence in Las Vegas last July, Crawford is now moving up to 154 pounds. The boxing star from Omaha has previously dominated the super lightweight and lightweight divisions, and he is now focused on solidifying his legacy by achieving success in a 4th weight class. In the build-up to his bout with Israil Madrimov, Terence Crawford exudes confidence and determination. He eagerly anticipates stepping into the ring in his 4th weight class, aiming to reaffirm his status as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. While acknowledging Madrimov's skills and entertainment value, Crawford makes it clear that come August 3rd, Madrimov will be added to his list of defeated opponents.
I want to leave a legacy that's never been left before, inside and outside the ring, business-minded, just helping the young fighters coming up, giving them the courage and the outlet that the fighters before me never gave to us, and at the same time.
With this fight, Crawford proclaims the beginning of what he calls the Terence Crawford era, signaling his intent to dominate and leave an indelible mark on the sport of boxing. But Madrimov is the obstacle in Crawford's path, and the Uzbek champion faces formidable competition in his inaugural title defense after capturing the belt in a thrilling manner during his last match in Saudi Arabia. The 29-year-old claimed the vacant title in Riyadh in March by defeating Magomed Kurbanov, stopping the Russian in 5 rounds with a commanding display. This victory extends Madrimov's unbeaten streak in professional boxing, building on his illustrious amateur career. Madrimov said, "Terence Crawford is one of my favorite boxers and one of the best boxers in the world. I am very excited to get this opportunity to make a statement, and I will, inshallah." Fight fans will be enthralled with the undercard, which complements the main event. Isaac Cruz, the newly crowned WBA super lightweight champion, is set to defend his title for the first time against American southpaw Jose Valenzuela. Sean Gibbons from MP Promotions said, "It's been nearly 2 years since Isaac Pitbull Cruz, the face of Mexico boxing, has had a fight in Los Angeles. But thanks to Turki Alalshik, Isaac's first world title defense will be a homecoming in front of the biggest Mexican fan base in the US." Now coming back to the Crawford versus Madrimov fight, it appears that Israil Madrimov sees the chance to use his title victory as a stepping stone towards defeating an undefeated 3-division champion as enticing. According to ProBox TV analysts Teddy Atlas and Paulie Malignaggi, causing an upset in the upcoming August 3rd fight at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles will hinge on Crawford showing signs of decline, especially considering he'll be turning 37 a month after the bout. Malignaggi said, "At this time, you can always age overnight. Guys just show up older. You consider that in the Madrimov fight." Teddy Atlas Atlas commented that facing Crawford is like entering a sausage grinder, where Crawford will wear opponents down with his counterpunches. Atlas believed that the only factors that could potentially defeat Crawford are age and diminished skills. He clarified that these concerns are not related to Crawford moving up in weight, as Crawford doesn't have a significant number of fights or miles on the odometer. Atlas said, "It's like going into a sausage grinder. Crawford's going to grind you up with counterpunches. Age and slowed skills are the only things I see beating Crawford. It's not linked to moving up in weight." Atlas evaluates a boxer based on the number of punches they've taken and the toughness of their fights, and he sees Crawford as still being fresh in that regard. Therefore, he doesn't anticipate this being a problem for Crawford. Atlas added, "And he doesn't have a lot of miles on the odometer. I judge a guy by the amount of punches he's taken, by how many tough fights he's been in. He's still fresh. I don't think that's going to be a problem." Madrimov, training alongside undefeated light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol and former unified junior featherweight title holder Murodjan Akhmadaliyev, in the Coachella Valley Desert of Indio, California, has experienced a remarkable journey to becoming a world title holder. His ascent follows a distinguished amateur career and a determined youth. Malinaji said, "Madrimov is rough around the edges and can give you a rough time. He's a new champion, and he's going to be hungry and wanting to create a bigger name for himself and his legacy." Crawford would be a huge feather to have in his hat, but if Madrimov is going to have a chance, he has to hope Crawford has lost a few steps. Atlas responded that the main challenge for Madrimov would be Crawford's speed and the various skills he brings to the fight. He highlighted Crawford's excellent eyesight, timing, and calm demeanor, comparing Crawford's ability to slow down a fight to how Michael Jordan would control the pace of a basketball game. Atlas responded, "The problem for Madrimov is going to be speed and all the elements Crawford brings. He's got good eyes, good timing. He's so calm that he slows the fight down like Michael Jordan would slow the game down." While Atlas acknowledged Madrimov's experience as an amateur, his physical strength and technical proficiency, he also pointed out his predictability. Madrimov tends to approach opponents head-on, relying on his physicality and targeting the body. According to Atlas, Madrimov's slow feet and hands would work against him in the fight against Crawford. Atlas continued, "I've watched Madrimov, and yeah, he's a real experienced amateur, and yeah, he's physically strong, and yeah, he's technically solid. But he's also predictable. He comes at you straight on, uses his physicality, goes to the body. His feet and his hands are too slow. Both of those will conspire against him." Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn is convinced that Israil Madrimov presents the most significant challenge yet for Terence Crawford. Crawford will find it challenging to employ the same fighting style he used against Errol Spence and David Avanesian when facing Madrimov. Madrimov is more disciplined and packs a harder punch compared to their opponents. Hearn suspects that Crawford may be feeling the effects of age catching up to him. There are few fighters Crawford's age who maintain such a high level, particularly those who step up in weight to face the hardest hitters of their careers. Crawford may need to adjust his fighting style accordingly. Hearn said, "My man here is going to derail the plans. Honestly, don't bet against Israil Madrimov. This is a very tough fight. I think this is going to be the toughest fight for Terence Crawford's career so far because he is a young world champion, a strong world champion, and a prime world champion. The Crawford we witnessed facing Spence will encounter significant challenges against Madrimov. Unlike Errol, he won't be as unpredictable, and his punches will pack a punch that'll trouble the Nebraska fighter. Madrimov won't be suffering from weight drain or facing a 17-month break like Spence did. Additionally, he's not entering the fight after a camp where he weighed over 200 pounds and with a pre-existing eye injury. According to Hearn, his excellency has taken a shine to Terence Crawford, and he's taken a shine to Jaron Ennis because he knows his boxing and knows how good those guys are. So for me, that's one of the biggest fights in the sport. But let's see Madrimov against Crawford first. We'll see how the year progresses. It's hard to definitively claim that Madrimov is the top contender at 154, but he undoubtedly ranks as the most formidable puncher Crawford has encountered thus far. In terms of skill, Madrimov surpasses any opponent Crawford has faced, though the bar hasn't been set very high given Crawford's history of mainly contending with B-level fighters. Spence and Sean Porter stand out as the toughest adversaries on Crawford's record, yet it's doubtful they could outmatch Madrimov. Hearn expressed his belief that Madrimov is the best 154 pounder in the world. He mentioned that Terence Crawford is eager to face all the champions and that the fight was arranged after His Excellency reached out to him. Hearn pointed out that every fighter eventually ages and moves up in weight class one time too many.
I mean, the pound for pound number one, But I will say this, Madrimov is the best 154 pounder in the world. I really believe that. And, Terence comes straight out the gate and he wanted all the champions. But they know they can make Madrimov. His Excellency reached out to me. We made the fight, the main event on a huge card. As I said to him, every fighter gets old. Every fighter steps one weight class too many.
He praised Madrimov's skills, highlighting his tremendous footwork, elusive movements, good defense, and powerful punches. However, Hearn acknowledged the challenge they face going up against what he considers the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in Crawford, describing him as a genius. Hearn noted Crawford's achievements as an undisputed champion at 140 and 147 pounds, and his attempt to become undisputed at 157 pounds. Hearn expressed his pleasure at working with Crawford again, but also mentioned his intent to break his heart and Bo Mack. Despite this competitive spirit, Hearn extended respect to Crawford's team and expressed excitement for what promises to be a massive show.
You know what I mean? Undisputed at 40, undisputed at 47, trying to be undisputed at 57. You may look back as the greatest fighter across our generation. So a pleasure to be working with Terence again. He broke my heart with Ricky Burns many years ago in Glasgow. He broke our hearts against Ndongo to win undisputed. And now it's time to break his heart on Bomac. Respect to their team. Just buzzing for a massive show.
The boxing community eagerly awaits the outcome of this clash, which promises not only to be a defining moment in both fighters' careers, but also a monumental event that could shape the landscape of the sport for years to come. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.